Reg, how are you, bud?
Theodore, I understand you have Matt Stainbrook in the office, right?
Yeah, he's in the man cave.
This dude, I just want to say one thing. Having a chance to call his game when he went against Arizona can flat out get it done.
Now, he's got a problem with you, Reg.
Okay.
All right, Matt, your question, your comment for Reggie.
You know what? So my question is, and I wasn't able to hear it live, so maybe.
Okay, so if you didn't hear it live,
someone may be misinterpreting it.
If you yourself didn't hear it, don't go by hearsay, but go ahead with your question.
From what I heard was that you said, "Oh, Matt Stainbrook just blocked a shot without jumping." And you said it in maybe a negative connotation, like, wow, Matt Stainbrook, the only guy I know that can block a shot without jumping.
Okay, now did you just add the little laugh twist onto it, like the only guy that can know block a shot? Or are you insinuating that's what it sounded like since you didn't hear it yourself?
I may have paraphrased. That's not verbatim. So, yeah, that's just what I heard.
Okay, Reg, put it in the context of what you meant to say or what he should have interpreted.
Well, what he should have interpreted was Matt Stainbrook out here dominating at the defensive end. He doesn't even need to jump to block shots. He's that good. Now, does it sound better that way since you're hearing it from the person that actually said it?
I like that twist on it. That's the way I'm gonna remember that.
Reg, here is our poll question: more painful for Kentucky fans, the Christian Laettner shot or losing to the Badgers Saturday night?
I would still go with the Christian Laettner shot because the percentage of that shot going in was what, .0012 maybe? That game on Saturday night, everyone had Kentucky winning that game, including myself. Wisconsin dominated that game. It wasn't like they lucked in and won. That was dominated from start to finish, and I know Kentucky came back and took the lead at some point. But Wisconsin never faltered. It was Wisconsin's game all along.
But we expected Kentucky to win. They were on the road to perfection. They were going to be ranked as one of the greatest teams of all time. The Kentucky team that lost to Duke and Laettner, that was a bunch of underdogs, except for Jamal Mashburn. So they were trying to pull off a David versus Goliath. This time around, Kentucky was Goliath. And not that Wisconsin's David, but, they had their chance for history. That's why it's far more painful, I think, losing on Saturday night.
Well, when you're going for a 40-0 and the expectations are high, look, either which way, it's painful if you're a Wildcat fan.
Yeah.
And, look, you should have seen some of the faces as they were walking out of Lucas Oil. I mean, it was almost like it was a death in the family, which it was.
Well, they were shocked. They
were shocked.
Yeah.
And they got beat by the better team. And Wisconsin had circled this date when the brackets came out, and they said they would have a chance to revenge what happened last year. They didn't want to call it a revenge game, but deep down, these guys, they wanted Kentucky. They wanted another shot, and they went out and they played like it.
Talking to Reggie Miller, NBA on TNT, also college hoops analyst there for the title game coming up tonight. Tonight's game comes down to what? Or who?
Well, to me, it comes down to if you're Duke, you're going to have to put Wisconsin in a very uncomfortable position because Wisconsin, as you saw on Saturday versus Kentucky, they love to play from ahead. And you've got to make it uncomfortable because they are not a great team at playing from behind because they control the pace, they don't make mistakes, they don't turn the ball over, and they shoot the ball particularly well, Wisconsin. So if you're Duke, you've got to turn them over, which is easier said than done, and you've got to make them play from behind, which means they're going to have to take gambles, they're going to have to shoot quickly, and Bo Ryan in Wisconsin, they do not like to do that. If they're up 6, 7, 8 points, well, that means they're going to run 30 to 35 seconds off that shot clock, and they're going to get the best possible look. Well, if they're down 6, 7, or 8, they've got to take a little bit more chances. So they've got to play from behind. If you're Coach K and Duke, speed up the pace. Wisconsin does not like to play fast.
Why does Kenny Smith say Sam Decker reminds him of Keith Van Horn?
Well, maybe because he does. Wait, didn't you mention that the other day?
Yeah, but I said don't mention that he reminds you of Keith Van Horn.
I said a poor man's version, very poor, like Section 8 welfare poor, Kevin Durant. And everyone looked at me crazy. Look, Sam Decker will never be the scorer of Kevin Durant. Well, let me get that clear, okay? When I say poor man's version, I'm talking about all the other little things. He's able to handle the basketball at 6'9", 6'10". You saw how he was posting up against the smaller defenders of Kentucky. How about the step-back three to put him ahead? You've seen Kevin Durant do that. I'm not talking about him going out scoring 30, 40, 50 points like Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Come on, people. That's what poor man versions mean. People get it mixed up. And you're right. Why does Sam Decker have to be compared to a white guy? I mean, I like the
He's
Kevin
a guy
Durant,
who can
but
jump.
everyone gets upset when you say that.
They do?
They do.
Yeah. Well, I just think he's an athletic kid. It's not.
Yes, he's very athletic, and people think white guy, not non-athletic. Yes, he's very athletic. He's the one guy, in my opinion. And I know Frank Kaminsky is the Player of the Year, but to me, Sam Decker has the bigger shelf life at the next level. That's my opinion.
Did you hear Mark Jackson's opinion on who should be the MVP?
I did.
Man, Mark on the show, and he stirred it up. Seton, can you hit Mark Jackson, the former Golden State coach? And I'm asking about who's his MVP.
It'd be awfully tough. I think there's four guys in the discussion in LeBron, Westbrook, Curry, and Harden. If you twisted my arm today, I would probably vote for James Harden. And the reason why is because he single-handedly has put that Houston Rockets team in position that they're in today. It'd be tough. I think Steph Curry, I'm totally fine with. Obviously, he's my guy. I'm fine with selecting him. The season that he's had has been incredible. Westbrook with 10 triple doubles.
All right, you can stop it. You can stop it there, Seton. So
okay,
Mark was being honest.
Now, listening to that, is he really like killing Steph on that the way people are portraying that he is?
Just the fact that he didn't pick Steph.
But he said he would have no problem going with Steph. That's my guy. See, that's what gets left off of that.
But he didn't take him.
I have no look, you could go either way. I have Steph personally, but you can make an argument for James Harden as well because, here, let's remove both of those players from their respective teams. Houston would not be the number 2 seed in the West right now without James Harden.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Golden State would have 63 wins without Steph Curry, but they would be in the playoffs. Houston would not be in the playoffs without James Harden. So that's why I think Mark is making that case. But in my opinion, I'm going with the best player on the best team with the best record, and that's why I'm going with Steph. But the way the media is trying to portray Mark and saying he ain't going, this is a guy that Steph Curry was his guy last year. He was in the trenches with him, and he's killing Steph. That's not killing Steph at all. He's saying I would roll with him too, but if you twisted my arm today, I'm going with James Harden.
But I
Big
think,
deal.
but Reg, it's just like Kevin Love. When Kevin Love was honest and he said, "Look, I would give it to Westbrook. I wouldn't give it to LeBron," and then people freaked out, and I said, maybe Kevin Love was. We're so used to hearing a couch response, scripted that we were like, wait, he just said Westbrook, and then Mark Jackson, I think, was just being honest to say, I got to look at Harden. But honesty is getting these guys in trouble here.
Theodore, damned if you do, damned if you don't. You want us to be honest.
Yeah, I know.
And when we are, you take offense to it. Now, if he would have said, oh, yes, it's Steph all the way, everyone's been like, well, of course he's going to say that. He coached them for 3 years. Of course he's jumping on the bandwagon. People, which way do you want it?
Well, it's like when you said if you were on the Bulls, you would have won 6 titles. Let's see Jordan try to carry your roster on the Pacers, and I thought that was honest.
I think he may have gotten 6 titles in Indiana.
How many titles would Jordan have got if you switched with Jordan?
I think he may have gotten 6 in Indiana with Rick Smith.
He might have gotten 7.
And Haywood Workman. And,
oh man,
Derek McKee. Yeah, he may have gotten 6.
So tonight's game, it sounds like you got Wisconsin, even though you're not allowed to pick.
As much as I love Duke, they have the best low post player in the game in Okafor. I love Tyus Jones. Winslow, to me, is the unsung hero of Duke. Well coached, obviously, with Coach K, Hall of Famer.
I think Winslow's got to be.
Having said all that, I'm going with I'm going with the fundamental kids. I'm going with Bo Ryan in Wisconsin. And the only thing that worries me about Wisconsin tonight is will they have the Kentucky Blues?
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is they were jumping up and celebrating like they had already won it Saturday night, which was a huge feat. Can they recover in 48 hours and give that same effort? I think they can, but let's just hope they don't have the Kentucky Blues.
Yeah. The analogy I've used twice is that it's like Miracle on Ice when the U.S. beat the Soviets, and that was the semifinals.
Yeah.
They had to get to the gold medal to win by beating Finland. That's the case. That's the only reason why I wouldn't pick Wisconsin tonight is I don't know what's left over from the Kentucky game.
Well, again, the first 5 minutes, that will tell me a lot because they got off to a great start versus Kentucky. And if they get off to another good start and they get into the game early, again, they play much better from ahead than they do behind.
Yeah. Got any problem with Kentucky players after the game, not shaking hands? And
I think they were shell shocked, devastated. Look, Wisconsin. Those guys were jumping up and down in the middle of the floor, going all crazy. It's hard for them to shake hands and all that. Come on, guys, give it a break. You guys are 18, 19, 20-year-old kids. They're devastated on one end for Kentucky, and Wisconsin's celebrating like it's the NBA championship. Let's give these kids a break.
Well, what time is airtime tonight?
9:18 is tip, I believe.
And then you got pregame.
And we have pregame starting at 8. 2 sets. The number one set, which is Greg Gumbel, Seth Davis,
Yeah, I know.
Steve Smith, and myself, and the B crew. See, we're the A crew. Like Floyd Mayweather says, he's the A side of the record. The B side of the record is Charles, Kenny, Clark Kellogg, and Ernie. They're the B side. We're the A side.
Don't be afraid to drop a passion bucket tonight.
I like Passion Bucket. You think I might get that in tonight? We're going to revisit that Passion Bucket.
Yeah. Don't be. It always, you're just saying, I don't know if Wisconsin's passion bucket is full.
I like that.
You got to leave some room.
Okay, I'll try to get in there.
Right.
Hey, and Stainbrook, get in your car, Mr. Uber. Drive your behind back here to Indiana and drive me on over to Lucas Oil, okay? I'll give you an extra tip, Mr. Uber.
Reggie,
okay?
if you ever need a ride, I will gladly pick you up anywhere, any place.
Hey, could you imagine that? Big 6'10" Matt Stainbrook picking you up with those funky glasses on, and if you get into a little tiff, him getting out the car being like, security, I would love it. You could be my Uber driver any day, man.
Yeah, but Reg, you're never seen in a car like Stainbrook has.
I would get in his car. I would get in his Uber car.
Matt, what are you rolling?
I have a gold 2004 Buick Rendezvous.
I am rolling. That's royalty. Did you see how he emphasized gold? Did you see that? Gold. Okay. That's like royalty. I'm rolling with Stainbrook.
I keep it clean, too. Oh, it's real nice.
Do you have
do you have cold
freshener?
water or room temperature water in your Uber car?
Oh, it's probably room temperature, but, I'll roll the window down and let it cool down a little bit.
Yeah, but Reg, what do you normally roll in?
Well, it would SUV if I'm being driven.
No. But when your best car, when you're driving,
a Range Rover.
Wait, what about the Bentley?
No, Range Rover. I need a bigger car.
Wait, but you still have the Bentley.
I do not have the Bentley.
What happened?
It was time to move on. Do you know how when I retired? That was 2005.
Yeah.
Get with the times. You think I'm going to keep the car for 10 years?
Well, it's a Bentley.
Move on, Theodore. Move on. I'm in the gold 2004. What is it, Stainbrook?
Buick Rendezvous.
Buick Rendezvous. That's what I'm rolling in. Gold. You hear me? Gold.
Yeah. It'd have to be real gold for you to get in it.
I don't care. Matt Stainbrook is driving. I'm rolling with him.
Have fun tonight, Reg. We'll be watching.
Theodore, my Danettes, and the big fella in the middle, Matt Stainbrook. You guys are truly the best.
Thank you, Reg. Reggie Miller, Hall of Famer.